Hey guys, doing something a little different today. First time I've actually had to do this, but I'm going to be recording a little bit of an addendum to the last vlog video. That's because about 2 weeks after I shot that video, my video hard drive died. And fortunately, it was one of those quick death scenarios. So I effectively have lost everything on that drive. Um, Come to find out that I hadn't backed that drive up in about 3 years. That's a massive screw up on my part. Uh, Thankfully, though, obviously I still had from the backup at least 70% of what was on that drive. So it's not a complete and total loss. Additionally, as this is something I started doing after that drive failed previously, probably about 5 years ago, maybe a little longer, started leaving files on cameras. And so thankfully I was able to get the most recent stuff I had recorded back off the camera. So I was worried, as I knew for a fact there were two videos that I hadn't edited, done anything with. So thankfully, was able to get those. I can do some stuff to try and make it work as far as editing, because unfortunately I've packed those kits up and I'm not going to unpack them. But suffice it to say, I lost probably a good 3 years worth of raw files. Now, thankfully, because of YouTube, since they're all up there, I still have the final edited stuff. And truth be told, because the drive was getting full, it was probably sometime this year I was going to have to start deleting some old raw files just to free up a little space. So let this be a bit of a lesson at the absolute bare bones minimum. Back your stuff up at least once a year. I mean, especially if it's stuff would be difficult to replace. Just back it up. So, something I'm going to add as a bit of an additional thing this year is I'm finally probably going to have to bite the bullet and buy build an NAS. Yeah, that's an expense I was not looking forward to, as at least from what I've done research in the past on doing it, because this is something I've been wanting to know I need to do eventually. Was build one of these, and I do know at least some of the basic components aren't all that expensive. You don't need a super high-end processor. You need a moderate amount of RAM. You don't need a video card. But the main issue is just the cost of the drives, and finding that balance of, okay, how much space do I realistically need, and how much redundancy you want. So for me personally, I think I'm going to go with probably a 10 drive setup, with 3 drives being for redundancy. That way, if some of the failure times hold, I shouldn't have to worry too much about drives, a bunch of them crapping out all at once. So I should at least have a little time. The only issue is going to be building it, because it's not quite the same as building a normal desktop. Other thing is, obviously, I also want this to be sort of a learning experience for because my end goal is eventually, and this is probably good at least 10 years in the future, if not longer, actually build a house. And one of the things I want to have in it is an actual sort of a mechanical room where I can actually put like a full-on rack server and do a full rack mounted NAS, so that hopefully by then I'll have a family and all that, and so that we can back everybody's stuff up onto it. We can do all that fun networking stuff that you can do. So yeah, that's going to be another major goal for this year, is to actually get around to building an NAS. So if anybody's got any tips, suggestions along that front, I would greatly appreciate it. Just as a heads up, I really don't want to buy one of those off-the-shelf types, just because you never know who might have a backdoor into it and what that backdoor could potentially be used for. So I'll get that right out of the way. But yeah, if anyone's got any good advice, links to good tutorials on building NASs, definitely leave them in comments. I'd greatly appreciate that. Beyond that, yeah, this dealing with a dead hard drive sucks. I'll also add, learn the hard way: never buy mail order hard drives. 2 different companies, and I'm going to say them on here just because this is just one of those things you shouldn't do with delicate pieces of equipment. You just should not do it. You should have that simple foreknowledge to say, this thing's kind of delicate. It's very sensitive to being bounced around. I should probably pack it a little better. Both Best Buy and Amazon fucked up shipping me drives. Best Buy, decent sized box, but basically no packaging. It was a very thin thing of that blow up stuff, but otherwise it was still right around in the box. Amazon did even worse. They shipped it in a fucking plastic bag. No protection, nothing. Not only that, I ordered a new drive. They shipped me a used drive because it was not in the original packaging. So thankfully, and it's somewhat near. So if you're familiar with Southern California, you will have a better idea of distances. But I remembered there is a Micro Center up in Tustin. Went there, quickly got the drive I needed. No hassle, no nothing. Just was able to easily get what I needed and eventually get home. So, big thank you to Micro Center in Tustin. Thank you guys. Seriously, send them your business. I was more than happy with my experience there. And I don't do this normally, but yeah, this is just one of those things that just really pissed me off and got under my skin. So yeah, if you guys are needing to build any computer stuff, need replacement hardware, go to Micro Center in Tustin or any Micro Center, because I've just, from the stuff I watch online and all that regularly, have heard nothing but good things about them. So, yeah, as I said, this was not a video I expected to make. I'm still planning to probably in next week or two do another review video or two just to get that added to some of the padding. I was actually having a discussion with my mother this morning as far as what we're going to do as far as flooring with regards to the house, whether or not we're going to do it ourselves or pay somebody to do it. That's a debate we're still having, and we'll see what happens, because that's going to directly play into how slowly or how quickly we're going to be able to get this move done. In fact, my mother is actually heading back next week. As I mentioned in the original video, dealing with some electrical box changeouts, and that should give us a better idea, at least, of when and timing and all that. So, yeah, hopefully you guys' year's off to a better start than mine, but at this point it is what it is. So, until next time.